Anya had lost her college tuition on her way to the university. She had kept it carefully in her backpack, but unknown to her, when she rushed to meet up before the main gate closed, she forgot to zip the bag, and somehow the money fell out without her knowing. As she walked under the midday sun of Port Harbor, tears rolled down her cheeks. She was crying so hard that people passing by looked at her, but no one stopped. A man sat in his small watch repair shed by the roadside. He looked up and saw the young woman crying. His heart moved with pity, and he quickly stood up. "My child, why are you crying like this?" he asked gently. Anya wiped her face with the back of her hand and sniffed. "Sir, I've lost my tuition money. I don't know how. I've searched everywhere, but I can't find it." The man stepped closer. "Calm down, my daughter. Tell me what happened." Anya explained. "I live with my mother and stepfather. My mother worked as a librarian before she lost her job. And my stepfather is the one supporting us. He is very strict and will deal with me mercilessly. He gave me this money to pay my tuition today. He told me not to come back home without the receipt. If I don't, he will deal with me and maybe even send my mother and me out of the house." The man's heart broke. He didn't have much. He was a poor watch repairman, struggling to survive each day by fixing broken timepieces by the roadside. What he made that month was the only money he had left. But when he looked at Anya's distressed face, he didn't think twice. "How much is the tuition?" he asked softly. "4,000 pesos, Anya replied in a shaky voice. Mr. Diego reached into his worn vest and brought out a small bundle of notes. It was all he had made that month, and he was saving it for his medical checkup. Slowly, he placed it in Anya's hand. "Here, take it. Go and pay your tuition," he said with a weak smile. Anya's eyes widened in surprise. "Sir, are you sure?" "Yes, my child," he said, nodding. "You remind me of my niece at home. Be serious in school. Don't follow bad friends. One day you will be great." Anya held the money tightly and wiped her tears. "Thank you, sir. I promise I will make you proud. When I become successful, I will never forget you. I will look for you and help you." Mr. Diego smiled and nodded. "Make sure you don't forget my name." "I won't," Anya said. He placed his hand gently on her head and whispered a prayer. Then he returned to his small shed, still with no lunch for himself, but he was happy to help. Anya ran toward the university before the gate closed. She looked back once and whispered, "God bless that man." When Anya got home, she looked tired but a little calm. She had paid her tuition and had the receipt in her bag. Her mother, Elena, was sitting on a small bench, looking worried and stressed as usual. Anya greeted, "Welcome." Her mother said, "Did you pay the tuition?" Anya nodded slowly. "Yes, Mom. I did." Her mother stood up, relieved. "Good. That's one less problem. Let me see the receipt." Anya brought it out and gave it to her. But then she looked down and said, "Mom, I have to tell you something." Her mother frowned. "What is it?" Anya swallowed hard and said, "I lost the money on my way to school today." Her mother's face changed immediately. "What? You did what?" "I lost it, Mom. I don't know how. I kept it in my backpack. I searched everywhere." "I cried," Anya explained quickly. Her mother's voice rose. "Anya, how could you be so careless? Do you know what that money means to this house? Your stepfather will throw a fit. He warned me. He'll say I'm useless. He may even send us out." Anya's eyes filled with tears again. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to. I was so scared. I thought about not coming home." Her mother turned away, breathing heavily. "But then someone helped me," Anya added quietly. Her mother looked at her again. Who? Anya smiled through her tears. A man. He's a watch repairman by the roadside. He saw me crying and asked what was wrong. I told him everything. He gave me 4,000 pesos. He said it was his last money, but he didn't mind. He told me to be serious in school and not to follow bad friends. Her mother blinked, confused. Wait, he gave you money? Just like that? Anya nodded. Yes, he was kind. He said his name is Diego Ramirez. For a moment, the room was quiet. Then her mother sat down slowly. God bless that man, she whispered. A stranger helped my daughter when even we had nothing. Anya, we must go and thank him. This kind of kindness is rare. Anya smiled. Yes, Mom. I want to thank him, too. I promised him that I won't forget him. When I become successful, I'll look for him and help him. While Anya and her mother were planning to visit Mr. Diego to thank him, something terrible was already happening on his side. That morning, Diego was sitting quietly in his small watch repair shed by the roadside. Business was slow, but his heart was still full of hope. Suddenly, he heard loud noises. People were shouting. Big trucks and men wearing uniforms were coming down the road. One of the men held a megaphone and shouted, "All roadside stalls and sheds must be removed. This is city property, you were warned." Before he could even pack his things, they started pulling down his shed. His tools and customers' watches scattered all over the ground. His old clock was thrown aside. He begged them, "Please wait. Let me pack my goods." But no one listened. They pushed and broke the wooden shed completely. Diego stood, his eyes filled with tears as he watched everything he owned destroyed in minutes. Where will I work now? His eyes glistened with unshed tears. How will I feed my grandson? The women beside him were also crying and begging, but it was too late. The trucks had already moved to the next street. Diego carried his small toolbox and walked home slowly under the hot sun. His sandals were dusty and his heart was heavy. All he could think about was how to tell his grandson Andres the bad news. But as he turned the corner to their house, he stopped in shock. Andres was already standing outside crying. Their bags and few belongings were thrown outside the gate. The landlady, a large woman with a sharp voice, stood there with a wicked smile. "Diego Ramirez," she said. "I told you. I warned you. You have not paid rent for a year now. I'm tired of your excuses. You and your grandson must leave now." Diego's mouth opened, but no words came out. He rushed to his grandson. "Andres, are you okay?" Andres nodded, wiping his tears. "Grandpa, they threw everything outside. I begged them to wait for you, but they refused." Diego turned to the landlady. "Please give me a little more time. I just lost my stall today. I don't even know where to go, please." But the woman turned away. "I have new tenants coming. I don't run charity. I have children to feed and bills to pay. Go and sleep in the street if you like." She walked back inside and shut the gate. A miracle in the next city. Diego and Andres sat beside their bags. The sun was going down over Port Harbor. People passed by. Some looked, some whispered, but nobody helped. Diego held his grandson close. "I'm sorry, my child," he said, his voice shaking. "I tried. I really tried." Andres rested his head on his grandfather's shoulder. "I know, Grandpa. You're the best grandfather in the world. God will help us." Diego looked up at the sky. His lips moved slowly as he whispered, "God, I don't regret helping that little girl. If I had to choose again, I'd still give her my last money. I just need a miracle now." That night they slept outside on the cold ground beside their bags. No food, no roof, no light, but Diego still held on to hope in his heart. The next morning, Diego and his grandson Andres woke up early. They hadn't slept well. The cold ground had made their bodies stiff and their stomachs were empty. Diego sat quietly for a moment, then turned to Andres. "My son," he said, gently tapping his shoulders. "We cannot stay like this. Let's go to the next city. My old friend Rafael lives there. Maybe he can help us." Andres nodded. He trusted his grandfather even in hard times. Diego sold their small television set and used the money to pay for 2 bus tickets. It wasn't much, but just enough to take them to the nearby city. They sat at the back of the old crowded bus, holding their bags tightly. The journey was about an hour, but it felt longer. Diego kept looking out the window, praying silently in his heart. When they arrived, they walked slowly to the street where Rafael lived. Diego hadn't seen him in a long time, but he remembered the house. He knocked on the gate gently, hoping and praying that his friend would still be there. A few seconds later, the gate opened, and there stood Rafael, surprised and speechless. "Rafael?" Diego asked, looking closely. "Diego. What? Why do you look like this?" Rafael gasped and opened the gate wide. "Come in, my brother. Come in quickly." Sadness filled Diego's eyes as he hugged his friend. "My brother, we lost everything. City people demolished my shed yesterday. Then when I got home, my landlady had thrown us out. We slept outside with our bags last night." Rafael brought them inside, gave them water to drink, and sat them down. Just then, Rafael shook his head in amazement. "Diego, you are lucky. You came just at the right time. My wife and I are relocating this weekend to the new house my son built in the capital. I was about to give the house key back to the landlord today so I could collect our 1-year advance rent." Diego looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean the house is already paid for," Rafael said, smiling. "You can stay here. Just take over the place. I will tell the landlord to change the name on the rent. You don't have to pay anything yet." Diego's hands flew to his mouth. "Ah, Rafael, you want to give me your house just like that?" "Yes, Diego. You're my friend and you need help. Remember when my mother was sick? How you sold your radio to help me with her hospital bill back then? God must have sent you here at the right time." Diego fell on his knees, tears pouring from his eyes. "Thank you. Thank you. God will bless you, my brother. He will reward you richly. You don't know what this means to me and my grandson." "Wait," Rafael added. "I'm not done. I also have some small money I saved for emergencies. You can use it to start another watch repair stall. It should be enough to buy the parts you need for a start and for Andres's university fees, too." Diego broke down. He held his friend's hands and said, "You don't know what you've done for me. Just yesterday, I had nothing. Now I have a roof and a new start. God will bless you, my brother. You will never lack." Rafael smiled softly. "That's what friends are for. You helped me once when I was in need. It's my turn now." Andres smiled for the first time in days. "Thank you, sir," he said. "I'll study hard and make you proud." 3 days later, Anya reminded her mother about their plan to go and thank the kind man who helped her. "Mom, we promised to thank him. Let's go today." Her mother, Elena, nodded. "Yes, my daughter. Let us go. A person like that deserves our thanks." They took a bus back to the street in Port Harbor where Anya had met Mr. Diego. But when they got there, they were shocked. The whole row of small stalls and sheds by the roadside was gone. Everything had been demolished. The land was now empty. Broken wood, scattered baskets, and torn umbrellas were all that remained. It was quiet, and there was no one around to ask questions. Anya's heart sank. "Mom, this is where he sat. This is his shed. What happened? Her mother looked around. It must be the city demolition we heard about. They have sent all of them away. But how do we find him now? Anya looked left and right, hoping to see someone who knew him, but nobody was there. Sadly, they turned and walked back home. As they stepped into the compound, Anya's stepfather was already standing at the door with his hands folded. "Where are both of you coming from?" he asked sharply. Anya's mother answered calmly. "We went to look for the man who helped Anya pay her tuition." "What man?" he asked, frowning. Anya's mother explained, "Anya lost her tuition money. A poor watch repairman helped her. He gave her his last money. We went to thank him, but we couldn't find him." The man burst out laughing. "What a nice story. And you expect me to believe that you left this house since morning to go thank a man? Are you not ashamed?" Anya stepped forward. "But it's true, sir. He really helped me." "Shut up," he shouted. "Your mother is cheating on me with that man. That's why she went there this morning. Look at you both. Like mother. Like daughter." Anya's mother was shocked. "How can you say that? I'm telling you the truth. He helped your own stepdaughter. Why are you thinking like this?" "Leave my house," he screamed. "I'm tired of taking care of two foolish people. Both of you are a liability to me. You and your liar of a daughter should just go and live with that your watch repairman boyfriend." Before they could say anything else, he went inside and started throwing out their clothes and bags. "Out! Out of my house!" They stood there confused, ashamed, and speechless. Elena carried their bags slowly. She didn't want to argue. They walked down the street looking for where to rest. Finally, they found a small store with a bench outside and sat down. The shopkeeper, a kind man, allowed them to rest there. As they sat quietly, a man dressed almost like a madman walked up to Anya's mother. "Mama, you fit find me something to buy water," he said calmly. All that was left with Elena was just 500 pesos, and she gave him 200 pesos from it. "Thank you, Mama," he said, cheering her. "See, I get something for you." He pulled out a small, squeezed piece of paper. "Take," he said with a smile. "This is my raffle draw ticket. I want you to have it, Mama. You will become a millionaire soon." Anya's mother took the ticket and whispered to herself, "Just like that." She didn't believe it, but something inside her made her keep the ticket. Some days later, as Elena was on her way back from helping women in the market fetch water so she could earn some money to feed, she passed by a raffle shop. Her eyes caught the sign and she suddenly remembered the ticket the man she had met on the street some days ago had given her. She walked slowly into the shop just to check the results without expecting anything. The shop owner looked at the paper and suddenly shouted, "Wait, Ma, this is the winning number." Anya's mother was confused. "What do you mean? You've won. You won the jackpot," the man said, jumping with excitement. "You've won 100 million pesos." Anya's mother stood there frozen. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. 100 what? 100 million. The shop owner repeated, "You're a rich woman now." Elena began to shake. Her knees felt weak. She sat on the nearest chair and held her head with both hands. Tears began to fall from her eyes. "God, that man is God sent. Is this really happening to me?" she cried. Tears of shock, tears of pain, and tears of joy. Everything had turned around in a moment. No more hunger, no more shame, no more sleeping outside. 15 years passed. Anya was no longer the little girl who once cried by the roadside because she lost her tuition. She had grown into a beautiful, elegant young lady. Her steps were confident and her heart was full of dreams. She was now the only daughter of a billionaire. After her mother won 100 million pesos that day, everything changed. They moved into a big house, started a business, and from there the money kept growing. Anya didn't waste the opportunity. She worked hard, went to school, and studied business. After university, she started her own company. It didn't take long before her business became one of the fastest growing companies in the country. She became known for her smart ideas, humble attitude, and kind heart. But there was something Anya never forgot. The man who helped her. Every year on the same date, she would sit quietly in her office and remember the day the man gave her his last money. She searched for him many times, but no one knew where he had gone after his shed was demolished. Still, Anya never gave up hope. She kept saying to herself, "One day I will find him. I must find him." Meanwhile, in a small town far away, Diego Ramirez and his grandson Andres were still struggling. Life hadn't been easy. The money his friend Rafael gave them helped for some time. But after that, they went back to starting over again and again. They lived in a small room at the back of an old compound. Diego opened a small watch stall by the roadside. His back ached now and his eyes were not as sharp as before, but he kept pushing. Andres had grown into a handsome young man. He was respectful, hardworking, and full of dreams, too. He had graduated from the university 1 year ago, but job hunting was hard. He had applied to many companies, attended several interviews, but nothing came through. So, he did petty jobs, sometimes helping his grandfather in the watch repair business. Each morning, Andres would wear an old apron, sit beside his grandfather, and fix different watches, a skill he had learned from him. Some days, they sold enough to eat. Other days, they returned home empty-handed. "Grandpa, don't worry," Andres would say. "I believe our story will change one day." Diego would smile weakly and nod. "I know, my son. God is watching." But inside, he worried. He wished he could give Andres a better life. One evening, as the sun was going down and they were packing their goods, Diego sat down and said, "Andres, do you still remember that little girl that was about your age? The one I helped so many years ago?" Andres smiled. "Yes, Grandpa. You've told me that story many times." "I wonder where she is now," Diego said softly. "I hope she's doing well." It was a bright Saturday morning. Diego had gone to the market to buy more parts for a customer's order, leaving Andres at the stall. He sat quietly, polishing a customer's watch, when suddenly a sleek black car rolled to a stop a few feet away. The tinted window slid down, and a well-dressed woman stepped out gracefully. Her perfume lingered in the air, mixing with the smell of leather and metal. She looked elegant in a flowing black and gold gown with floral patterns and gold earrings, and gold high heels that clicked sharply against the rough ground. One of her shoe buckles had come loose. She sighed softly and walked toward his small stall. "Good afternoon," she said in a calm, refined voice. Andres looked up quickly, surprised. "Good afternoon, Ma," he replied, wiping his hands on a small rag and smiling politely. She lifted her foot slightly. "Please, can you help me fix this buckle? It came off just now." "Of course, Ma," he said. "Let me check it." He carefully took the shoe, his rough fingers moving with gentle precision. In minutes, he tightened the small strap back into place. She watched him quietly, his focus, his calmness, the care he took in his work. There was something about him, something clean in his spirit. "How much?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "Ah, no need, Ma. It's a small thing. You can go, Ma." Her eyebrows rose slightly. "You mean you're not charging me?" He shook his head. "No, Ma. You look like you were in a hurry. I just wanted to help." The woman smiled. "That's rare these days, to see people do something without gain." She paused for a moment, then looked around his small wooden stall. "How long have you been doing this?" "Since I graduated from the university, Ma," he said quietly. I have looked for a job for over a year now. Nothing seems to come by, so I joined my grandfather in the watch repair business instead of staying idle. She nodded slowly, her eyes softening. What's your name? My name is Andres, Ma. Andres, she repeated, almost thoughtfully. You speak well. You're polite and you seem trustworthy. He smiled shyly. Thank you, Ma. There was a short silence before she spoke again. I've been searching for a new driver, someone honest and calm. Most people I meet these days are either careless or arrogant. But you seem different. Andres blinked, unsure he heard right. Driver, Ma. Yes, she said firmly. I can train you myself if you don't know all the routes. I'll pay you well, and you'll have a place to stay. I just want someone I can trust. His heart pounded. Are you serious, Ma? Very serious, she said with a warm smile. Thank you, Ma, he said quietly. You don't know what this means to me. She reached into her bag, took out a card, and handed it to him. My name is Madame Elena. Call me tomorrow if you're interested. If not, I'll understand. He took the card with trembling fingers. I'll call, Ma. I promise.